For the latest in strategic affairs, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell icon for updates.
Hello and welcome to the Gist on Strat News Global. Hi, I'm Surya Gangadharan, and this evening we're going to explore something new in India's digital space. In a few days from now, testing will begin of the Open Network for Digital Commerce. It's a pioneering venture for the first time in India and in the world. And I have a small graphic here to give you an idea as to what it's all about. Do keep in mind the point, the UPI, the United Payments Interface, which was a pioneering effort at democratizing and making more efficient the payments, the digital payments network. Now, what we are seeing today, the Open Network for Digital Commerce, is in the commerce space. So, some of the brief outline of what this network is all about. It's a government initiative, but driven by private enterprise. It will revolutionize the way business is being done presently, and it will enable thousands of small retailers to enter the e-commerce space. It will transform logistics, and this is the direction that India is going in the next few days when testing actually begins. So I have with me T Koshy, who is the chief advisor of this venture. Koshy, welcome. Glad to have you. I understand that this is being attempted for the first time in India and perhaps anywhere else in the world. So could you explain to our viewers what it's all about? How does it work? What does it do?
Thank you, Surya. Let me first give you a very brief explanation of what this Open Network for Digital Commerce is trying to do. As you have noted in your introduction, it is an attempt to democratize the market. What do I mean by democratization? Today, if you look at, you're all familiar with how e-commerce works in most part of the world. You have independent giant platform doing a fantastic service. They give an integrated solution starting from the seller on one side to warehousing to logistics and an application for the interface of the consumer. And there are few large platforms like this, each of them working as a completely integrated solution in a siloed fashion. So what does it mean for us? Okay, for the people who are using it as an integrated solution. But if you look at what's happening in India, while this segment has been growing tremendously over the last few years, the penetration with respect to the consumers is less than 10%, with respect to retailers is less than 6-7%. It means that the participation is still a far way for a long journey to go to reach a very, very large cross-section of our society. And if you want to have more entities coming as a seller, then they have to have the ability to put up such a comprehensive platform. So which means that only the option for a manufacturer or a seller or a trader is either join one of this platform or not be there. On the other side, if let's say there are
either Amazon or Flipkart or something.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, the established one. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Or if you think about an entity, let's take out a telco company. I'm just giving a theoretical possibility. Or somebody like Paytm. They already have a large base of consumers whom they're giving some service.
Yeah.
If they want to make commerce an option for them, they also have to worry about getting all the sellers in place.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea of Open Network for Digital Commerce is to bring an interoperable protocol that will enable any buyer application to talk with any seller application, and any seller application to talk with any buyer application. And that way, any buyer will have the option to access the full set of sellers, and every seller will have the option to access a full set of buyers. No, it's not something in that sense, and the idea is not new. We use that every day in our mail. You might be in Gmail, I might be in Yahoo, somebody else might be in some other mail. We all talk to each other without a problem, without worrying who is coming in between, because SMTP is there in the middle. It's a similar idea ONDC bringing into us, and this is the same thing that happened, like you said, in UPI for commerce. So UPI for payment. So this is the open network for digital commerce in that way is enabling this interoperability and unbundling of the components of trade. That's in brief. And any specific, I leave it to you, Surya, to ask, and I'll be happy to go in detail.
So this will benefit the small guy, which means you're keeping out big guys like Amazon and Flipkart, for instance. Or if you're bringing them on board, what happens to this little guy then?
No. This is not exclusive of anybody. It is inclusive. Today, big guys are there. The small guys cannot come as independent businesses. So what we are saying is we are creating a network where everybody can participate. You could be a member of the Amazon stream, still be visible in this network. You could be a small, let's say, a small chain who's connecting all the Kirana stores, the local hyperlocal stores in, let's say, Bombay area, just giving an example. They will be equally visible. So that way, it's not exclusive or limiting anybody to come, but it's enabling everybody to come together in a common market. If I just give you an example, like, imagine in a physical world, a giant mall. You have Gucci there, as well as a small, coffee shop owner also. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So it doesn't put the small guy at a disadvantage.
No, they all have the benefit of the mall. They will all get the visibility of the clients.
Okay. So does this have other spin-offs, say, in areas like logistics or something perhaps broader?
Well, no, it is going to have humongous amount of spin-off in multiple areas. Imagine, because like I said, now, the components of a transaction, there's a seller, there is warehousing, there is logistics, there is a buyer interface, there is a buyer delivery. There are so many of these components. Today, it's all done by few people on one entity who's integrated together multiple, bringing the multiple services online. Now, tomorrow, when these are all unbundled, it means that each of the areas you may see innovative business model coming. Let's take it a little specific. Let's say I am a small, let's assume that I can make good cakes and I want to set up a good cake supply shop. But I only know how to make cake. I don't know how to get a buyer. I don't know how to get logistics. I don't know anything. Now, if I am there in a seller platform which gives my catalog visible to the network using the ONDC protocol, I am in the business. Now, tomorrow, let's say, Surya, when you want to buy your cake, when you come to the network, through any buyer application, it could be Paytm or it could be Amazon, you will see Koshy is available with his cake in Worli. You may decide that you'll also see, let's say, Dunzo or Good Box is available as a logistics partner. So it could happen in two ways. One is you may do a stitch deal saying that Dunzo will pick up from Koshy and give it to Surya, or Surya, or or the other way around, the seller himself will stitch a deal with the logistics guy. So you look at the possibilities of imagination. Now, to make all this happen, you also need enormous technical innovation. So you will see a lot of startups giving very, very interesting solutions. In fact, I'm just taking one more extra line here, Surya. Last week, we did a hackathon. In the hackathon, we had, it was actually done with a very, very short time for people to prepare. It was also the year-end time and so on and so forth. Our hackathon was on 7. We had 131 participants. We had given 11 challenges. Some of them are how to help a small hyperlocal store, the Kirana store, come online. Someone was how to do an Indic language support to, in many Indian languages and so on and so forth. We see fantastic participation. So what we are going to see is driving innovations with respect to technology, solutions, business models, and so on and so forth, in a number of components that goes into commerce.
Now, I was just wondering, in fact, we were ordering cake the other day from a small bakery that is apparently spread all over the place, So in a sense, this is already happening. This guy, I think in Fern and Petal or something like that, they are delivering all over the place, So this is already happening. You're adding to this, or does it make it better? I'm a little confused.
Those are happening in a limited space. Now it is going to happen on a national level and with a lot more options. Here, these are tied. The options are limited. When ONDC is there, options will become proliferate. If you take the UPI example, We had digital payment for many years in our country. Something like
Yeah.
300 million transaction in a month that was happening before you. When what happens when the UPI came? 300 million came 4.5 billion. So it is like explosive growth or exponential
Yeah.
growth of the number of buyers and sellers and the transactions.
Mhm. So you're talking of an ecosystem that's going to undergo a revolution, isn't that it?
Yes, yes, exactly.
So what else can we expect to see? You mentioned logistics could take a huge leap forward. What else can we expect?
Logistics, warehousing can take a huge leap forward. You could see a lot of digitalization happening in small and medium enterprises, and you would see them bringing their products also onto digital commerce. That means the diversity of products available become much better. You would see the very very unique products which are available in some part of the India become available across the country. And you will see encouragement to a larger set of sellers coming in because they have a better marketplace. Okay,
Mhm.
so like I said, logistics, these are on the service level, but in terms of innovations in the technology area, you will see even humongous changes, opportunities coming. Like I said, services for the different set of sellers and buyers, and even bring in the very very unique kind of customer experience using artificial intelligence and and so on and so forth. You could see very very boutique kind of application coming both to serve the seller and to serve the buyer. So the
Mhm.
possibilities that way are very very diverse. And
Mhm.
some of the things,
So,
like when you have when a market structure undergo a change, Surya, the way in which people can come up with new combinations are beyond even our thinking. And we saw that
yes.
in many of the industries where you saw this dramatic game changing solutions came up.
Mhm. So, if the I'm just trying to think, the little guy in my locality, potentially this thing will give him a leg up in the business. Now,
Sure.
how do you get him on board? I mean, is there some? How do you reach out to them? Who's going to do it?
No, no, there are different kinds of. See, since now there is a business model for many people to come into this business, what we are
Mhm.
seeing is a lot of innovative people are coming up with their specialized solutions to go and work with the small enterprises. That is from the business side. We are
Mhm.
also seeing initiative from the government side, Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, SIDBI, and all those entities who are attempting to strengthen the small and medium enterprises now have an extremely powerful tool. We are also
Mhm.
seeing interest from many developmental institutions, international as well as local, and philanthropic capital, who are coming and saying that now that there is a highway in place, let me help a lot of people to be familiar to how to deal in this that way, how to establish their business in this highway, how to service the clients in the highway, how to develop the product in the highway. So earlier they were all limited by what can be done. Now that what can be done has become infinitely broad, there are
Mhm.
a wide cross section of participants coming together to make it happen. So it's not
Mhm.
going to be ONDC alone. We are already in discussion with all these entities. This is not just some intellectual exercise I'm going through. I've already had talks with a number of such entities. In addition to that, there is a huge another segment which is also going to be significantly benefited is the finance industry, helping the sellers um, and the merchants with better credits, because we
Mhm.
have digitally verifiable transactions now available. Normally in the
Mhm.
credit industry it is all asset based lending. Now
Yeah.
it is opening up enormous opportunity for a large cross section of people to look at flow based credits. So it is helping the merchant as well as it helping the finance industry. That
Mhm.
itself is going to be product innovation as well as opening opportunities and much cheaper credits to a large cross section of small and medium enterprises. That's
Mhm.
why we have started working with the government, developmental institutions, and philanthropic capital to bring ideas into this market and develop this segment.
Mhm. So this is being attempted for the first time in the world.
Yes, first, in terms of an idea like this in the commerce, is first time in the world that we are attempting. Very often, when they in many of the international situation, what you're happening is whenever there is a concern about big tech and so on and so forth, the idea immediately that comes is with the idea of a regulatory or legal sledgehammer to break into small pieces. Whereas in India, what we are seeing is a very unique idea. We said we don't want a digital sledgehammer. I mean, we don't want a legal sledgehammer. We want the technology supported by with the market, supported by an enabling policy to make the market more democratic, and to avoid concentration of power among only few entities. So that way, this is really a unique model. Surya, I've had the opportunity to talk to many of the international audience in the last few weeks, because when they heard about something very new, I mean, there had been session like this. I've had the opportunity to sort of talk to a large cross section of investors, venture capitals, and so on and so forth on how they see it, and they all feel it is a complete game changer we are attempting here in India.
So there's this whole thing of ideas, that this is about. It's all
Yeah.
about some people or a lot of people thinking these things through. So what does
Yeah.
that tell you about the idea space here?
I mean, I'm saying is it is, many ideas start exploding when there are more components in the node. Okay. So now imagine if you look at the way how we are demonstrated in our country in the last 10, 15 years, we started with giving an idea of giving an ID to everybody. Okay. And build on that, we built an idea of giving everybody a much more of easy way to get themselves a bank account. And now ID proving and bank account together strengthen the whole way the benefits there is being delivered by the government as well as other entities. Okay.
Yeah.
On the top of which we had the payment side of, the UPI brought in the payment side. So if you really look at commerce is what? Two sides. One side is a money movement and the other side is a movement of the goods or services. Now that each of these components are adding, cumulatively they are enhancing and exploding the possibility domain itself. Earlier, if you had only one or two components, probably as a combination, you have X number of possibilities. Now with 5-6 components coming together, this is really exploding. And adding on to that, Surya, you might be also aware that there is a very aggressive plan by the government of making digital highways to all across our country and making very excellent bandwidth available in every small nook and corner and village. Now imagine, that means all of them, when they also come in, and with all these components that will help the big and the small, it's no more an elite club. Okay, it is bringing equalization in opportunity. And then it is only whether they have the idea. They have, otherwise somebody who's in a small town or a small village cannot capitalize on that idea. It is not that they have short of ideas. They also have brilliant ideas, except that they cannot capitalize. They cannot bring into multiple cross-section of buyers, multiple cross-section of investors, and multiple cross-section of other services they can club together. Now they are all being available to stitch this together. So you're talking about a revolution using these kind of components coming together.
So last question. This is largely software driven, isn't it? What about the other technologies that come with it?
No, essentially, finally, at the end of it, software is a very, very broad word. Okay. So you would see whether it is application software, artificial intelligence, machine learning, devices, Internet of Things, all these components, which are all different components of the digital technology, are very, very key input to, in this, in this journey. But of course, like we discussed earlier, newer way of logistics, with more, the way I will even look at the more things to be delivered to hyper local delivery, etc. We may see, the idea of the, drone delivery, which is just picking up, may exploding. Okay. You would see sort of, sachetized services of warehousing that is happening in different corners. So it is when all this becomes enormously possible. So it is what is happening, it is triggering and making it possible to come out with such innovative ways of doing things.
And you're going to be testing this very soon.
Yeah, we are, like we said, now we are already a number of, in a sense, we have already tested. We demonstrated that a buyer from one location can use a buyer application given by one company, logistics application by another company to get things delivered for him through another seller application. We have already done an integration in a curated fashion. We plan to do it in a real transaction probably in a few weeks time in two small big towns and three small towns to show that it works. And that is only to get the merchant etc ready. After that, it's a question of getting more and more merchants. So in few months time we will be completely operational network up and running.
Okay. Koshi, more strength to your arm, and hope your experiments go off and we can scale up soon. Looking forward to more conversations on this going forward. Thank you very much, and glad for your perspective.
Thank you, Surya. Thank you, Surya.
And for all of you out there who have been following this conversation, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media, on Twitter, Instagram. Do keep sending us your comments and observations. We love to have them. Thank you and good night.